नमस्कार दोस्तों और जय हिंद। आप सभी को स्वागत है इन माय चैनल 1971 वॉर बुक सीरीज। तो दोस्तों, आज हम एक स्पेशल प्रोग्राम होस्ट करने वाले हैं जहां पे हमारे साथ कुछ इंटरनेशनल गेस्ट्स ज्वाइन करने वाले हैं। सो लेट मी गिव यू अ ब्रीफ एग्जांपल कि ये इंटरनेशनल जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं हाउ दे आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन द 1971 वॉर, स्पेशली ऑन द बांग्लादेश साइड। तो आपको शायद पता नहीं होगा कि किलो फोर्स नाम का एक इन्फेंट्री ब्रिगेड बना था ऑन द इंडियन आर्मी साइड, जहां पे 3 बटालियंस थे ऑफ द मुक्ति वाहिनी एंड 2 बटालियंस थे ऑफ द इंडियन आर्मी, एंड दिस किलो फोर्स वाज बीइंग कमांडेड बाय ब्रिगेडियर आनंद स्वरूप। इस पूरे टोटल 5 बटालियंस में 2 जो इंडियन आर्मी के काउंटर इंसर्जेंसी बटालियंस थे, उसमें से एक था द 32 महार रेजिमेंट। तो आज हमारे साथ फॉर्मर 32 महार रेजिमेंट, जो अभी 15 महार रेजिमेंट है इन द इंडियन आर्मी। तो इस रेजिमेंट जब बांग्लादेश ऑपरेशंस में था, तब अल्फा कंपनी ऑफ दिस बटालियन के कमांडर थे मेजर हेनरी भास्कर। तो हमारे साथ आज ब्रिगेडियर हेनरी भास्कर, जो उस वक्त मेजर थे, he will be joining and he will be talking about his experiences in the Bangladesh Liberation War of 1971. और उसके साथ स्पेशली a civilian guest like me is also joining up, and her name is Mrs. Anu Singh. So Mrs. Anu Singh is not a military historian or anybody who is working on the 1971 war, लेकिन उनका जो significance है that is also very important in our program today. तो 32 महार रेजिमेंट जब बांग्लादेश ऑपरेशंस में था, उसका कमांडिंग ऑफिसर था लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल हरगोविंद सिंह, जिनको विशिष्ट सेवा मेडल से भी सम्मानित किया गया था। तो मिसेस अनु सिंह इज एक्चुअली द डॉटर ऑफ लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल हरगोविंद सिंह, एंड यू शुड बी अवेयर कि 32 महार रेजिमेंट वाज वन ऑफ द बटालियंस जिन्होंने 91 इन्फेंट्री ब्रिगेड ऑफ द पाकिस्तानी आर्मी के सरेंडर लिए थे एट चिटागोंग। So you can understand the significance of the 32 Mahar Regiment, presently the 15 Mahar Regiment in the Bangladesh Liberation War. So Mrs. Anu Singh will be joining us from the US, and she will also be talking about her father and the civilian aspect of her father other than the operations. उसके साथ हमारे साथ ब्रिटेन से ज्वाइन करने वाले हैं लेफ्टिनेंट इमरान चौधरी, ब्रिटिश एम्पायर मेडल। So Lieutenant Imran Chowdhury was actually commissioned in the Bangladesh army, and he later left the army and went to the UK, joined British politics, and is now a serving minister in the UK. He was awarded the British Empire Medal by the government of Britain itself. Now his significance is, you must have seen him in my previous programs as well. His father was a notable Mukti Bahini commander, and actually the commander of one of the companies of the 3 wing of the East Pakistan Rifles, जो रिवोल्ट करके डिफेक्ट किए थे in the Sylhet sector to fight the Pakistani army. His father was actually at शमशेर नगर एयरपोर्ट सुबेदार फजलुल हक चौधरी, जिन्होंने शमशेर नगर एयरपोर्ट से रिवोल्ट करके पाकिस्तानी फौज के खिलाफ फाइट किए थे इन द इनिशियल फाइट एट सिलेट सिटी। और उनके ब्रदर, who was also a freedom fighter, was actually captured and executed by the Pakistani forces. And at the same time, Lieutenant Imran Chowdhury and the rest of his family had suffered extensively, had to leave their house in Brahmanbaria and had to come to India to take shelter as a refugee. As a 10-year-old boy, he had suffered immensely as a refugee in the state of Tripura in India, जब भारत refugees को पनाह दे रहे थे। So I hope you can imagine the magnitude of this program today. Brigadier Henry Bhaskar from the Indian Army is joining us. Mrs. Anu Singh, the daughter of Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh and the former commanding officer of Brigadier Henry Bhaskar, will be joining us. Alongside Lieutenant Imran Chowdhury will be talking about the Bangladeshi perspective of the 71 war. तो एक और चीज मैं आप सभी को बताना चाहूंगा, मेजर हेनरी भास्कर was actually the first officiating commander of the Chittagong port after liberation, और उसके साथ 32 महार रेजिमेंट का कमांडिंग ऑफिसर लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल हरगोबिंद सिंह had a special connection with the मुक्ति वाहिनी। देखिए, मुक्ति वाहिनी का 3 जो बटालियंस था, एक समय के बाद उसका कमांडर बन गया था मेजर अब्दुल सलेक चौधरी, जिनको बांग्लादेश युद्ध के लिए वीर उत्तम गैलेंट्री अवार्ड से सम्मानित किया गया था. वीर उत्तम is equivalent to our Mahavir Chakra. So after liberation in 1972, just a few months before his own passing away, Major Abdul Salek Chaudhry had actually written a very complimentary letter for Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh. And this was a letter which included a heartful thanks for the Indian Army's contributions in the Bangladesh Liberation War, especially the contributions of the 32 Mahar Regiment. Now, after receiving this letter stayed with the Mahar Regimental Center for the next 52 years. And eventually, in 2023 December, 15 December, this letter went back to the family of Major Abdul Salek Chaudhry in Dhaka to his brother Major Matin Chaudhry. तो इस पूरे का पूरा इतिहास अभी हम सुनेंगे directly from our participants and also from me as the host of this program. So let's welcome all of them to our program today.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I'm here. It's good morning here. Good evening to you all.
Good afternoon from London.
Good afternoon from London.
I think I and Brigadier Henry are only from India.
That's good. We are all truly international.
So finally, we all are here. All you know, Imran Chowdhury, sir, of course, he is the son of a freedom fighter and also the brother of a freedom fighter. And ma'am, we all know about you. You're the daughter of the commanding officer of the 32 Mahar in 1971 war. And Brigadier Henry was a major in the same battalion. So,
Yeah.
you three are all people who have, especially Imran sir is still working on the 71 wars extensively, writing books and doing his own research, especially on the East Pakistan Rifles' role on, the 1971 war. So, welcome all of you here. And finally, nice
Thank
to see
you,
all of
Devjyoti.
you here.
Thank you, Devjyoti. It's all your efforts. I applaud you for all your work.
Thank you. So, as you, I think all of you had been present during the 1971 war, and all of you have been sort of like anyways involved in it. I think, especially Imran sir, you have also suffered as a refugee. So, I would ask sir to start with directly from 25th March and everything that started in Bangladesh at that time, and then we'll move to the Indian perspective. How the Indian Army was sort of like getting to know that something has gone wrong in Bangladesh side, and how they are preparing to deal with it. So if that could start with Imran sir.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'm really honored, humbled, and absolutely delighted to be here with you all. And my gratitude, my homage, and my moral reparation to the people of India and the armed forces of India, because had India not helped us in 1971, today I would not be sitting here in London and talking to you, because the situation was so precarious, so dangerous, and so derogatory that they would have all literally wiped the Bengali race from the face of the earth. Had India not intervened, had India not given us shelter, things could have been completely different, and we couldn't have had a country called Bangladesh. We have paid so much of blood, the amount of blood that we poured at the altar of our independence. And of course, the Indian Armed Forces, I have seen by my own eyes the sacrifice the Indian Armed Forces have carried out in 1971 to offer and gift us Bengalis with an independent nation. I owe a great deal of gratitude to the people of India, to the people of all Tripura, Meghalaya, Assam, West Bengal, and of course the armed forces. Now, what happened is I was only 11 years old, and we were living literally from Agartala, 17, 18 miles away, a subdivision called Brahmanbaria, which is the nearest bordering subdivision of Agartala, the capital of Tripura. And on the 25th of March, the crackdown happened, and they have started a massacre in Dhaka, and slowly and gradually, over a period of literally a month, the Pakistan army has encamped themselves 75% of the areas of East Pakistan. They were in every single subdivisions, every single districts, every single divisions. So the revolt started from the 26th, 27th of March, which actually a combination of the Shangram Committee, means the Independence Movement Committee, the student political leaders, the students, the peasants of the field, the workers of the factory, and of course the East Bengal Regiment. There are only three battalions, literally, and the East Pakistan Rifle, Ansar, and Mujahid. All these outfits, they started the revolt, the initial resistance to stop the Pakistanis movement, but it was impossible to face that ferocious activities of the Pakistan army, because bear in mind, every normal regiments, East Pakistan Rifles or East Bengal Regiment, we did not have an armory. People in the army, we call it first line pouch ammunition, which is about 100 bullets. So 100 bullets for a soldier, it can finish, he can exhaust 100 bullet in one skirmishes, and it can be a one-day affair. So obviously, we had no other choice but to pour into India. The political echelon of the Bangladesh, Joy Bangla, the Army League has also poured in, and also the armed forces, an element of the armed forces went and sought help in Agartala and other places. But to be honest with you, it was impossible to even contemplate. It was impossible to even think of it, because how do you move in some other people's country without arms and ammunition?
Right.
This is not allowed. But India has allowed it. From day one, BSF has been working hand in glove. So, and then slowly the Indian Army and especially in Agartala and other regions, Indian Army and BSF started training the Mukti Bahini. And from day one, it was Indian Army, Armed Forces officers, NCOs, JCOs, BSF officers, NCOs and JCOs. They were actually training the army. Of course, by this time we had a skeleton Bangladesh Armed Forces headquarters and all that had happened. But from then onwards, I would hand it over to then Major Henry Bhaskar from the 31 Mahar, who saw absolutely, he has the whole view of what was happening standing. It's like a bird's eye view. But just before I hand it over to Sir, I would like to say that the liberation war and the guerrilla warfare could not have been perpetuated by the Bengalis had we not got the help from India. And of course, from literally, we poured into India in Agartala. In between Agartala and Savrum, there is a place called Surjamoni Nagar, where we had a special camp for all the elites, all the officers, all the MPs, ministers of East Pakistan. They set up a camp, and we were in Surjamoni Nagar, which is about 5 to 6 kilometers from Agartala as you go towards Melagar or Sabrum. The present Tripura Institute of Technology, I think the engineering university is situated in the place we lived. So my father was in Sylhet in EPR, East Pakistan Rifle. He was sent on the 24th of March with his company. He was one of the company commanders of 3-wing EPR, and he was sent to Shamshernagar Airport. Shamshernagar Airport is a very famous airport in the military history of the world. Actually, this was the airport which was built in the Second World War by the 14th Army, was they were retreating from Kohima to Kohima, basically. Um, uh, and this airport was the Samsonnagar airport was used to actually send logistics, arms, ammunition, money to Chiang Kai-shek to fight the Mao Zedong guerrillas. So this is very important. One of the KPIs where my father was sent on the 24th of March as an IS duty, which is called internal security duty with his company. And on the 26th March, they intercepted some radio messages and found out that there is a crackdown that has taken place in Dhaka, and loads of people were killed at the dead of the night. Women were captured and taken away from medical college hostels, university hostels, college hostels, school hostels, and they were brutally, inhumanly raped. So after hearing this message, my father revolted with his company on the 27th of March, and subsequently, he fought in the Battle of Sylhet on the 8th of April, and then his base was based in Koilashahar. So from where he continued the liberation war, and he was one of the subsector commanders of the 4th sector. So that is, and now I hand it over to Brigadier Bhaskar to say the rest of the stories. Thank you.
So, sir, could you tell us how your unit actually got the news and got involved in the preliminary, what I can say, the first areas of operation in the Bangladesh, liberation war? You must have just reached the border by the month of May or something like that to take part in the operations, or you are still like in India in your units, in your brigades, I guess. Because I think the
Right.
Mukti to Mahar was actually a counterinsurgency battalion.
Yeah, I'll just tell you the whole thing. Firstly, let me start off with my word of thanks and having given me an opportunity to participate in this webinar. And more importantly, I have Anu Singh, whom I know such as a little girl, and his father has been a mentor, and he was my commanding officer, and I have very, very fond memories of him, and he is my professional hero. And thank you, Anu, and nice meeting you here. And it's such a great pleasure that you being here, and it being a lot of pleasant memories. Also, I'll just go into a little background to give you the correct perspective. What happened was, I'm not going to mind this thing. Um, Indian Army wanted to raise 2 battalions for the protection of the border road organization in Mizoram, right? It is called I Battalion, that is internal security battalions, and raised out of the border road funds, that is 31 Mahar under Colonel Hargobind Singh, and 14 Jat, right? 14 or 17, 14 Jat, I think, whatever. 17 Jat, whatever. So when we moved into Mizoram, we were not under the border roads, we were come under the proper brigade, and we were operating as the I battalion. There is no difference between regular battalion and the I battalion. The only thing is we didn't have the anti-tank platoon. But later on, the orders came that we'll be a normal battalion operating under the organization of the Brigade Indian Army, and we had nothing to do with the border roads. And our organization was made up to a normal infantry battalion, right? We were deployed in Mizoram. Then, when this operations took place, before that, I was the brigade major of 73 Mountain Brigade in Mizoram. I finished my tenure and joined back my battalion. So when the operation heating up, when the things were heating up, so Indian Army pulled out the 73 Mountain Brigade out of Mizoram, and the one Assam Rifle sector became the operational commander of the entire Mizoram, with only 2 battalions, 31 Mahar and the other Jat battalion, and of course
31
there are a lot of
Jat
Assam.
Majors.
17 Assam Rifles and police were all there, right? And I was, since I already been in the headquarters as a brigade major, I was pulled out into this Assam Rifle headquarters as a G2 operations. And at that time, General Sagat Singh, who was the GOC 4 Corps at that time, he was 101 counts one area, he was promoted as a GOC 4 Corps, used to come on a lot of reconnaissance. When he used to come on a reconnaissance, and I was detailed as a general staff officer to accompany him, and I had a lot of acquaintances with flying with General Sagat Singh and talking to him, interacting with him, and somehow he took a liking for me. I think I mean not for me to say, but however, I dare say that he used to talk to me nicely. So that time, when my battalion, that is 31 Mahar or 15 Mahar, was deployed in the Agartala border, adjoining the Bangladesh, and a lot of people started moving in. At that time, there was no clarity. What is supposed to be doing. Of course, we are following the national event, what is happening, genocide taking place in East Bengal. We were not happening. Why people are coming in? So there's no direction from the government. What is to be done, and are we to be treated as the infiltrators, or what is to be done? They're a little confused to start with. After some time, we got a directive from the higher headquarters that yes, we are supposed to get all these people crossing over to India and look after them, feed them, shelter them, look after them, and thereafter, after having stabilized them, make them in a lot of 100, 200, and send them back to the proper refugee camp in the hinterland. This is what our job was. Are you with me so far? What I said?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Thereafter, we got orders that the refugee camps are moving quite a lot, and the people who come here, and the Indian Army found there's a lot of potent generation, young generation, who can be used, trained, armed, and you could be used against the insurgency operations against the Pak Army operating in East Bengal. So therefore, the Indian Army set up a 4 5 training camps of the Mukti Bahini. Mukti Bahini is those boys who want to fight for the freedom of Bangladesh. Those boys are known as Mukti Bahini. Mukti is,
Freedom.
in the
Freedom.
Bahini force is a force. So there are a lot of sectors organized, and one of the major sector was sector operating in Agartala. In Agartala, the whole eco sector of the Mukti Bahini training camp, and I was detailed as the training major of the thing. Our task was to get all of these boys, firstly motivate them. You know, you can be a soldier, but if you're not motivated, you can't be a soldier. The motivation is a sort of a sub cheese of all the training. So motivate them, arm them, train them, and take them across the border and operate against the Pak army. When you're saying, it can be a devastating experience of the regular army if a small little force, come and fire on you, ambush you, and do all sort of things. It's a demoralizing force, and it is sort of a put them, into disarray. So we used to do that, and before we go, there used to be a conference in which we allow boys to talk. My God, they talk better than late Mujibur Rahman. So beautifully they speak. ऐसे करेंगे हमारा ऐसा करेंगे वैसा करेंगे. We used to get motivated talk hearing them. So we used to also go along with them. We can't leave the young boys with no training. So some of us officers, JCOs, NCOs, go with them across the border and lay an ambush and do sabotage work and this, that, the other, and cause casualties on the Pakistan army and put them in a state of disarray or defense, right? And come back by the morning. This is what I was doing.
And sir,
So
you
when
used
my
to go in civilian clothing.
No, no, no.
so
You used
what?
to go into Bangladesh in civilian
No,
clothing.
no. We used to go with the lungi and
Yeah.
we are
Lungi and shirt.
Oh,
Okay.
Tiffany, and there's no difference. I also look like one of the Bengalis with my complexion. So they merge with me very well, right?
Right, right.
And we used to go, and it was a very successful operation. Whosoever conceived this idea of Mukti Bahini operating against the Pak army is a very, very successful, and we caused quite a lot of problems, casualties, and demoralization in the Pak army by these Mukti Bahini forces. Now, when this was going on, the Indian Army decided to launch a major operation. Therefore, my battalion, under the command of Colonel Harguban Singh, we moved. We were moved to Agartala sector, and my CO said I must come back because I'm one of the company commander, senior company commander.
Right.
So he asked for my return. So I handed over the charge to somebody else and came back, joined the battalion as a Alpha company commander of the 31 Mahar those days. Right. Then we occupied some of the defenses which were occupied by the Pakistan Army initially and been evicted by the Indian Army, and just short of Feni, right? But it was a registered place, and it was just next to a diggy. You know what the diggy mean? Diggy is a
Big
pond.
pond, big pond.
Right, right.
Yeah, big pond. It was next to a diggy. And since Pakistan is already in the position and evicted by us, and it was a registered target, and they used to count us day, noon, and night because the registered target, and we couldn't lift our head. It was such a bad experience for 4 or 5 days, and Colonel Argoban, even his commanding officers, to crawl and come because it's so difficult, dangerous, and continuous Pakistani army fired, destroyed because that was one of the launch point. That was one
Sir,
of the,
can I ask you, sir? So when you entered Feni, did you go through Ramgarh from
Ramgarh.
Aizel? Why? How? I mean, did you enter Bangladesh through Belunia or through Ramgarh? Do you remember?
no, we go to Belonia. Belonia.
Yeah. Okay.
Belonia Bulge.
Yeah. Belunia
It's called
Bulge. Yeah.
Bulge.
The Battle of
Belunia.
Belunia. Yes. Yes. Okay.
So just short of Feni,
I guess to Rajput.
I think Ranpur or something. Ranpur,
To Rajput and 10 East Bengal, Jafar Imam.
Right.
Colonel
maybe that,
Jafar
maybe
Imam.
that. And it was what day march from Feni, right? So we
Yes.
stayed there, but however, we withstood the position. Of course, the staying power of Indian Army is very well world over known, and by the excellent command of a true soldier, Colonel Govind Singh, and he used to motivate us. And so much so, we used to food cannot come because of so much shelling, and we used to manage with the diggy water, make some brew some tea, and carry on like that, managed. But after some time, things stabilized, and orders were given to move forward and capture Feni, right? And when this, in the meanwhile, there is in Warante, there's an end point of Mizoram. There was a counter-insurgency jungle warfare school was there. It was commanded by Gen Anand Swarup, and there are no courses being run because of the war, and that organization has become the Kilo Fort. They have made the Kilo Forts, and Gen Anand Swarup, that time Brigadier Anand Swarup was the commandant of PIJW, became the commander of Kilo Force. Under Kilo Force, 31 Mahar, the Jad battalion, and few artillery units were there, and a couple of BSF battalions. So it's a sort of a force which operating like a brigade, is operating like a brigade, but what is the Kilo Force? And the Kilo Force, when you operate, the foremost leading battalions got advance guard, right? Indian Army just don't bash on headlessly because we go, it is a method madness in advance. The advance guard. Since there's a good rapport between the commander of the Kilo Force, Colonel Anand Swarup, and my commanding officer, General Govind Singh. See, the personal confidence in a soldier is more important than operation, right? You can be anybody. If I have a confidence, so the confidence factor means a lot. So General Anand Swarup had so much of confidence in the ability of my commanding officer, Brigadier Argoban Singh, Colonel Argoban Singh. We were made the advance guard to take the lead the whole Kilo Force. And down below, my good fortune, my commanding officer had a lot of faith in me. I don't know why, and he known me as a little young captain. So I grew up with him, and he is my mentor, and I had a lot of regards with him. And in fact, he played a major role in getting me to 31 Mahar, whatever. So I was then the leading elements of advance called is known as vanguard. I was a vanguard commander, and we led the advance to Feni. As we approached Feni in the early hours of the morning, and there a lot of fighting took place from Razakars and this, that, the other. Of course, there's not much of resistance. We occupied Feni with very little casualties and a little bit of operation. We occupied Feni, and we stayed a couple of days in Feni. And thereafter, the orders came that we go to receive, because when the major operation is directed towards Chittagong, towards Dhaka, this force, Kilo Force, is supposed to operate along the Feni Chittagong axis and capture Chittagong. This is the task given to Kilo Force, right?
So, but then, sir, can I interrupt, if I may, sir, with due apology? So, when did the Kilo Force had the Bangladeshi 4 Bengal, 9 Bengal and the 10 Bengal element attached with it?
Yeah, I'll tell you
Okay.
what happened when the operation started towards advance towards Chittagong from
Ji.
Feni.
Yes,
There's
sir.
a place called Gangadhar Bazaar. I
Yes.
wonder if you know Gangadhar Bazaar.
Yes.
Gangadhar Bazaar, we were to launch a major operation. But Pakistanis, when they were withdrawing from Feni, they blew up all the culverts. There's a riverine territory, totally culverts. And we were running short of because we were only two battalions were there. That is 31 Mahar and the Jod battalion. Of course, that's all paramilitary. So, therefore, there's a little pause, and the 9EB was inducted and made in the orbit under the orbit of Kilo Force, right? In Gangadhar Bazaar, prior to launching an operation in Gangadhar Bazaar. They having married with us, they didn't come with a batch. They came bits and pieces, company wise. They were after 9EB defected from the Pak army. You know that.
No, 4 Bengal, 4 EB.
4EB or 9EB,
4
whatever
EB.
it is.
9 AB was raised during the war.
Which of the battalions that defected?
4 is Bengal regiment. 4 is Sylhet was the
battalion
Sylhet was the
that
commander.
4EB
was there.
defected.
Yeah.
It was came under the command of the Kilo Force.
Yes, sir.
After they have joined us, then we had three battalion. That is one EP battalion, 31 Mahar, and the Jod battalion.
Yeah.
We launched attack on Gangadhar Bazaar. Gangadhar Bazaar had a lot of problem because a lot of firing came on us, and Pakistanis want to, they thought that some ad hoc force is coming. They didn't take it seriously, but we sort of we launched a very fierce attack on them, and after 2 nights of fierce fighting, we could capture Gangadhar. It's a bus stand is there. The
Okay.
bus stand was
Yeah, there
the
was a
major
big bus stop.
there
Yeah.
was a bus
But
stand.
can I ask you, me being a East Bengal regiment officer, commissioned officer in Bangladesh Army, how did you find the valiant freedom fighters of 4 East Bengal regiment, Major Salek and Captain Gaffar and others?
I think
Imran, you
Major
preempted
Saleh
me.
was one of the men who wrote the letter to your father, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
You just preempted me. I was about to mention that. When the riverine territory was there,
Uh-huh.
when a force is fighting, it requires ammunition, rations, and fulfillment. But all the entire thing was blown off. No BH-1 vehicle can come.
No,
So that's
no
the time
no BS trauma.
Bahini played a major role. They commanded all the cycle rickshaws there, and we used to get all our ammunition, weapons, and things like that in the evening. The Mukti Bahini boys used to bring us before the after the dusk and feed us, equip us, refill would take place, and they used to go back. But as to answer the question of Mr. Imran, Mukti Bahini boys are very motivated, highly motivated, and they were raring to go, and they were very appreciative of what we are doing, and they were very thankful to us for having fighting with them, and they were really a great asset to us. But for back to, I mean, I don't know, I'm not competent to say, but however, I dare say, but for the support of Mukti Bahini and East Bengal Rifle, we couldn't achieve what we achieved. It is impossible because that place war is area is well known to these boys.
Yes.
Local terrain knowledge is very important for a successful operation, which we don't have. But this was provided by the Mukti Bahini boys, and they all local boys. They know everything, so they were helping us and taking us through. And as you advance, so after capture this Gangadhar Bazaar operation, we again resumed operation. Normally, after a major operation, the advance guard is changed. But since General Anand Sulb had so much of confidence in my commanding officer, he said, Hargobind, you continue. General Hargobind Singh, Henry, you continue. That we continued. That's it. We continued. You see, Mukti Bahini was not a disorganized force. They were the organization, the companies, right? There are organization companies and sectors, and they had their own commander. So one sector, one little, I think, company plus or something was attached to me to look after me. And as we go, and the Mukti Bahini senior most boys, they used to be with us. They used to be part of our O group or order group to take us advisors, local, you go this way, that way, all these things, and where the mines are there. They also, mind you, they know where the mines are there. there's so much of knowledge of the local terrain. This place is a don't take this route. This is a mind. You take a detour and so on and so forth. And also when we go through villages, each village they used to give us a lot of food. Food is not coming through. So
No.
living on the local resources like a we carried on. All right. Anyway, it's because thanks to the Mukti Bahini who's been looking after as well.
Thank you, sir.
And but for the support, I'm telling you again, but for the support of Mukti Bahini, Indian Army could not have achieved what we have done. At least I can say about the Chittagong Axis.
Thank you.
I can't say about Poppiton, but they played a major role in advising us, and they also had a lot of tactical sense they had. So Vaisa Jana, and that used to talk in Bangla, and I used to say, okay, Shunain, and carried on. But others say, right, we carried on. Then there's a sanatorium on the way. I forgot the name of the big sanatorium on a high feature. Kamran, can you relate what the sanatorium? TB sanatorium was there.
Yeah, it's Sitakundo.
Sitakundu.
Yeah.
Sitakundo railway station, up in the hill, there is a
Yes.
tuberculosis hospital.
And that place, a terrible lot of fire came from there and stalled our advance. We couldn't move further.
There is a big monastery of the Hindu religion. Sitakundo is a very highly revered place in the mythological journey of Sita and Ram and all that. So it's a very important place, and that is why Pakistan Army was very much concentrated in that place so that they could demolish everything and wipe the relics and the identities of the Hindu religion, because their war was against Hindus. It is not Bengalis. For them, all the Bengali Muslims and all the Bengali Hindus were perceived by them as Hindus. So they came to do a jihad, and that was their main aim, as they have done or they are doing in Kashmir. They have done this. They started that war in Bangladesh. That was their trial ground. So they wanted to wipe the Hindu religion from the face of the earth. Vis-a-vis the Bengalis, for them was Hindus. They're just taking a kind of a identity, calling themselves Muslims, but they were not Muslims, because when they were bringing the troops from Pakistan, they were told that you were going to East Pakistan to do a jihad. So Sitakundo was a very important place. When I was in the Bangladesh Military Academy, Bangladesh Military Academy is not far from Sitakundo. It's about 7-8 miles. So we used to do exercise. Our commando exercise used to be in Sitakundo, where the Hindu mandir and the monastery is there. It's a huge. It's about, you're looking at literally about 1200 years ago that was built. It's one of the oldest Hindu shrines in East Pakistan, in Bangladesh, still today. Anyway, there is a hospital there, and I think there was a huge casualty. There was a big fight there.
Yeah, our advance was stalled. We couldn't resume the advance along the Chittagong axis, because along the Chittagong axis, on the right side, on the eastern side is the sea, road, and the Chittagong hill tracts were there, right?
Okay.
Chittagong hill tracts.
Yes.
In fact, it's a very broken country, very difficult to operate. Anyway, this is the kind of terrain we're operating. So on the right side is the sea,
Yes.
road, and the hillock terrain. So when the opposition started coming from the sanatorium side, it was a very severe, and we suffered a lot of casualties. And it was decided that we should launch a proper attack to capture them. And the decision of the higher command that to launch the EB with one of our battalions to launch the attack to capture of because this is a major operation, we cannot want beyond that. And there's a pressure from the Forco to progress the operation, because this is a diversionary action happening because of the pressure on Dhaka is mounting, right, that time. Because our operation success is equivalent, is also of course related to the operations in the capture of Dhaka. So we were told to proceed with the attack. So first attack failed because of a lot of casualties. The Pakistanis fired like hell. I think 11 44s or 14 44s was there in that area. So anyway, so having failed the attack, but still it was under the command of Colonel Hargobin. Then the task was given to my company, along with one of the the Jot, one of the Jot battalion company was 7 Jot, I think. I don't remember the name. Anyway, listen, it's 50 years back I'm talking,
Yes,
right? Right.
54, 53 years back.
Still, with
Yeah.
God's grace, I remember a few names, whatever. So the my company, along with I know the company commander name is the Captain Ranveer. I remember that. So we launched the attack. We launched the attack from the diversionary attack from the tour and launched the attack. And a lot of local people helped us to take the tour and launch them from the river direction. We captured them, and we captured about 15, 20 Pakistani soldiers. They were totally demoralized in that operation, and my commanding officer recommended me for the award of Mahar Chakra for conspicuous gallantry in face of the enemy. Right now, as a soldier, you don't worry about what award you're getting. Award is not the thing. What you want to achieve, the task given, achievement of the task given is the most satisfying factor than all the Mahar Chakra, Parama Chakra, all those things, right? Whatever.
Hmm.
So we captured that. After capturing that, we consolidated, reorganized the whole thing, then resumed the advance. Normally, after capture, after one company has launched an attack, that company is required a time rest and refit and refillment, all these things. But however, belaying all the tactical principles, my commanding officer said, Henry, you will proceed. You see, I have no reason to grip because he has so much of confidence in me. I cannot tell him, sir, I suffered casualties, I let me time. No, no. He had a faith in me as Henry, you will proceed. Yes, I only say, sir. You don't even say, yes, sir, sir. And we
Sorry.
proceeded. And before we proceeded, General Anand Swarup was there as a commander, and he was not very happy with the way we launched an operation. And the first phase failed in that santuarium area. So General Anand Swarup came and said something. So I clearly heard my commanding officer saying, "Now you give me the task. Will you bust off from here? Let me do my job." Can and today I want to see which commanding officer can say like that. He's a man of guts. See, my commanding officer to the brigade commander, sir, you give me the commander order, the task. Will you please get away from here? Let me do my job. He said that.
Yeah, that's
That's it.
fantastic.
Carry on. That's all. And he's normally, my commanding officer has got a big beard. He used to have beard like this, round, round, round like that. But the war, you couldn't sort of have no time to see. It's all it's like a lot of his body coming is difficult. And he used to wear some. He never used to wear a helmet. Also wear so pug, not puggy. Pug. Pug is something what they put.
Yeah, it's a
And
cloak, basically. Yeah.
yeah, what
Let Anuji say something about her father, please. I'm
yes, and
so
you say something.
interested to hear her story. I'm
Something
really honored
we
to
have heard
have
about
her.
Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh's military aspect and the entire battalion's actions, right? So I would like to hear about him as a person from you, ma'am.
So I feel so choked and honored that I'm dad's firstborn. And I remember, you remember Major Nair, Brigadier Bhaskar, Nair uncle? Anyway, he used to say, Anu, you're just spitting copy of your dad. I used to feel so proud. The way I used to stand with my hands behind my back. He said, you look, stand and you carry your posture just like your dad. And as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, I felt so proud. I was always proud of my dad. Dad brought us up, 4 girls, not once letting us feel that he was missing a son. Never. He said, you are like as good as boys. Don't ever feel that you're girls and that you can't do this or that. You have my freedom to do anything you want. I had that confidence from dad and that love and the freedom. And he was a strict dad, but he was strict in a good way. We weren't scared of him. I would stand next to my dad and he would tickle my, as a little kid, I have those fond memories. He would just, put his arm around my waist, and it was just, he was so loving. And he was mostly in field station. When he was home, we would cherish those days when he would come home on leave or leave and, want to do things with dad. He was very adventurous. He would take us around in his car. A very doting and a loving dad. That was him. Very tough as a soldier, but really with a very tender inside, very soft inside, very, very loving. Those are my memories. I remember when I went to college, he went with me. It helped me select the subjects I would study, and I had full confidence in Dad. I knew he selected the right ones. I didn't uh, any truck with him saying, "No, Dad, I study this or that." So he was always hands-on, always engaged with his children whenever he was with us and not in war zone. Uh, uh, remember him, yeah. Well, being the oldest one, I'm a little bit. Brigadier Henry might testify, Brigadier Bhaskar, that Dad also had that the way he answered back to his group, like, "Here, are you entrusted me with the job? I'll do it. Buzz off from here. Let me do it." So I have that kind of attitude too, and I feel proud that it's like my dad's. I have the courage of my convictions that and I will often get into loggerheads with people over the, policy or ethics issues, and I have no problem because I know that Dad would be proud of me if I'm standing my ground and I'm refusing something or refusing an order because I know that order is wrong. I will stand by it, and I always remember that was Dad. That was Dad. He stood up to various. Again, Brigadier Bhaskar would testify that lost his promotions because he stood up for the courage of his convictions. He would stand up to the seniors, whether it was a brigade commander or the general sab. If they were asking him to do something wrong, Dad would say, "I'm not going to do it." So that is my memory of Dad. As we go along, of course, I'm so happy and honored to be here with Brigadier Imran. Are you Brigadier, sir? Imran,
No,
sir?
no, no. I was a lieutenant in Bangladesh Army. I left very early. Yeah, but I live in United Kingdom, and I do a lot of research on Bangladesh liberation. My brother was 17-year-old freedom fighter. He was
Uh,
captured by Pakistan Army
oh,
and was brutally tortured and
yeah.
was killed on the 21st of
Oh,
November,
still,
which is 17 days away from the independence of the town that where he
oh,
was killed.
I'm so
and
sorry.
I lived as a refugee, and I have a very vivid memory as a refugee. So I've just written two books on Bangladesh, my life as a refugee, and
Oh,
today what I am is all been absolutely shaped by the events that led to the independence of Bangladesh. I
mm,
am a victim. I was the only man, 11-year-old,
yeah.
same age as you, and I was the bread earner for the family. My father was
Oh,
140 kilometers away in Koilas Shahar in
ah,
Dharmanagar, and
mm-hmm.
we were in Agartala, and my mother, my sister, my two younger siblings. I was going to the jungle to cut firewoods. I was standing in the ration queue in a refugee camp. The life was completely obliterated from overnight. Uh, just to give you an example, I'm not trying to show off. I mean, we had quite an affluent life before the 25th of March. My mother was a deputy superintendent of customs and excise. She
Ah,
was a graduate from Dhaka University in the 1950s. So from there, we just fallen from grace overnight, and we were in bread line. I tell you the truth, in 9 months of my refugee life, I have never ate a proper meal. It was always shortage, and
ah,
I like to eat a bit, but there was not enough meal. There was nothing. We never had any protein, no fish, no meat, because we couldn't afford to buy anything. And seeing the whole Bangladesh becoming independent
mm,
unfolding in front of my eyes, and the plight of the people. We saw the refugees pouring in from East Pakistan to India in Agartala as late as 15th of December. People were walking past our refugee camp. They were running like they had no hope. And this is the irony that the world has turned a blind eye on the plight of the Bengalis in
mm.
1971.
Oh,
The
yes.
the amount of women were compromised and raped and abused by continuously by the Pakistani army in their bunkers, in their barracks, in their tents. It was simply a Bengali Holocaust, and as what Hitler did in Germany and Eastern Europe, the same thing. Pakistan army copied that book page by page. I mean, full stop, comma, and semicolon. They just followed it. So that is what I I dream that one day we will bring them to the books, and people, the world will rise up to the
Yeah.
occasion and
These.
give justice to the sacrifices
Mhm.
and the destitution and the humiliation my race has faced. And
Mm.
that is why I reach out to Henry Bhaskar. When he come to London, I go and talk to him. His cousin is a very good friend of mine.
Oh,
He's like a
y'all have met.
friend of mine, and I have so much of reparation, moral reparation, and I owe a great deal of gratitude, homage to the people of India, and of course the armed forces of India, because I saw in Akhaura Road Junction in Agartala town center, I was distributing. There was a newspaper called Joy Bangla newspaper, which was published in India by Bengali exile government, and I was distributing that newspaper to the people of Tripura just to raise their morals and to say that we are not going to stay here for long because our freedom fighters are capturing places after places. We will be leaving you. We don't want to be a burden on you. So I was distributing that newspaper as late as 15th of December. But on the 6th of December, when the war started, from the 7th morning, I saw hundreds of soldiers, Indian soldiers, were brought back from Akhaura, and they were all kept on that town center, Akhaura town center, for evacuation to the 4th sector headquarters, 4 Corps headquarters in Shalbon. That is where the headquarters was. And the whole number of ambulances coming and taking these Indian soldiers. Some of them have the eyes have popped out, someone gushing blood gushing from their chest. People were all over the place, hundreds of soldiers of green, the uniform they're wearing. And I mean, which country in the world pays and pours that kind of blood for their neighbor? I mean, the gratitude and the homage and my respect to the people of India, people of Indian armed forces is enormous. I don't think I will be able, I mean, I don't have that kind of vocabulary to explain any further, but you can understand the
No.
magnitude of my sincere and honest gratitude that I would like to pay to the people of India, because had India not helped us, we would have died in those refugee camps. Believe me or not, it
Yes.
was life was really, really that precarious in those days. So I lived, Mr. Brigadier Henry, please carry on, sir. I'm so
Oh,
enticed and interested.
Just
hello, Brigadier
Welcome back,
Bhaskar.
sir.
Welcome. I wanted to, and I'll shut up after this, but we are waiting for you, Brigadier Bhaskar, because I was telling our friends here how we were so fond of Henry Uncle because you were Dad's blue-eyed boy. Dad had implicit faith in you. It was in the house, all talk used to be. Dad, whenever he did talk, he was very private about his professional talk. He wouldn't talk shop much at home. But because we met Mrs. Bhaskar, who we called Auntie, and Brigadier Bhaskar, we all called him Uncle. We met them as socially outside of their uniforms. So we have that family bond. And Dad would always so fondly talk about Henry. It was just Henry. He was, just completely trusted you, and that's why he wanted you. He entrusted you in Bangladesh with very important because of who you are, Brigadier Bhaskar. So thank you very much.
I just want to tell you one thing that I remember now. It is a 9 EB. 9 EB, very clearly remember. So 9 EB was taking part of this. After Kumarhat, after the Santorum operation, resumed advance. And just before Kuberahat, there's a place called Kuberahat, where we major opposition of the Bangladesh Pakistan army. And I'll go back. Whatever Imran has said, you are very empathetic. We fighting for the cause of Bangladesh. We never realized that we are fighting for a cause to create a new nation. None of those things came to our mind. Our only mind was these Pakistani army did behave in a professional manner, misbehaved, and did commit a lot of atrocities with the people of unarmed people. So we must sort them out. That is the only mind playing. Is that we must sort them out, come what may. And of course, as being army guy, the task given and task done. So we carried on. So the Kubra Hut operation was a major operation. We found is going to be a brigade attack because there's a last stand of the Pakistan army before. It's about 8 kilometers from 8 or 15 kilometers from Chittagong. So then, then normally what happened? We attack headlong. There's a thing known as hammer and anvil method. That means you put a hammer behind the stop, like then you attack. Again, my commanding officer said, Henry, you are going to be the stop. Okay. Now, he had given me a lot of resources. In the early morning, he gave me the middle 4 o'clock, he told me, leave 6 o'clock. My company, one company of JAT, 7 JAT, and one company of company of 9 EB, and of course, one, say, a company of Mukti Bahini. So we got to go behind the defenses, and there's a feature where you're supposed to establish a block. If you block the enemy and you do from the front, that means you cut the enemy. That is the tactic.
Hmm.
So I went marched along the Chittagong route, into a lot of the people, local people hiding themselves like from the Pakistan army and telling us not to go. Baba, mat jana, sale log uधर, sale log is there. Don't go. I said, Baba, you give me some water to drink. I have to go. So we walked through the Chittagong hill track. It's a very, very difficult march. It's a highly broken Chittagong hill track is a highly broken country. Anyway, we reached our objective, and I plugged my forces, my company, NEB company, one JAT company, and I launched the forces and established a proper block to prevent any escape of the Pakistanis. So as I blocked it about 1 o'clock, and 1:30, I got a call from the commanding officer, and you come back. At that point of time, I didn't understand why he asked me to come back, having taken so much of pain. I've never had food, nothing. But the information was that Pakistan is going to surrender. No point putting attack and waste of time and resources and lives. So he told me to come back. I didn't have the larger picture at that time. At that time, I thought my commanding officer is unnecessarily ragging me, going all the way, come back. I thought so. Anyway, order is the order. The operational order is the thought said, come on. Okay, I said, hi, sir, I'm coming back. I came back all the way, reached around 4 o'clock or so. In Bangladesh, it gets dark soon. I was in an open paddy field, and my CEO told me to deploy my forces here in a particular place. At that time, his O group was badly shelled. Badly shelled. A CEO somehow escaped the shelling, and his intelligence officer Ivo was injured, and one of the JCOs with him, operator, was killed. So he was, he was also in a dangerous situation. Of course, he was somehow, he's a General Goban Singh is a different kind of soldier, even sort of come what may. So after all these things, the dead body lying next to him, still he said he was controlling the operations. He told me to deploy them. So when I deployed there, it was open paddy field, and I marched from 8 o'clock without a food, water. I was very, very tired. So I didn't know that it was so close to us. I told my O group, I told my orderly to go and get the O group. Removed my boots, I put my carbide down, I had a smoke. So when all these things happening, when the O group came, O group is the people who take orders for me to deploy. I took them to deploy them there. In the army, like you smell perfume, we also develop a sense of smelling danger. I was smelling real danger that time, right? I was not very comfortable. I was smelling there's some danger lurking around me. However, I was deploying my forces. Suddenly, a virulent pistol came. Virulent pistol is the fire, the whole air eliminator called virulent. Then I know that something is fishy. When I said something is fishy, by the time I told my chaps, you get back. And I got back. There's a fraction of mental delay of few seconds. I was surrounded by about 8, 9 chaps from the um,
Enemy.
11th tall Pathans. I was alone. My company is gone. My boot laces are not tight. My carbine is, I don't have the carbine with me, is down below, and I'm very, very tired. I don't know what to do. So they were want to catch me because at that point of time, catching a major as a POW is a very
Mm.
price catch. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't want to give them the opportunity of that chance. But
Mm.
however, we in the Indian Army, I'm not don't want to brag. It's one of the finest army in the world. I've been abroad, I've been instructor, and I seen a lot of foreign army. I taught the foreign army people. Yeah, I done courses abroad. But let me tell you, I can say with a lot of pride, the one of the best force under the sun is Indian Army, Indian infantry, supported by other arms and artillery and all. We've been taught right from our scattered days how to let something known as the unarmed combat.
Mhm.
Unarmed combat
Yeah.
that you don't have a weapon, you're not armed, enemy is armed. How do you fight your way through? That's called
Mm.
unarmed combat. There's a particular technique is there, using a knee and all the things. Somehow I did something, I got out of the clutches and started running. The open paddy field, harvested paddy field, and a lot of firing came on me, a lot of firing came on me,
Wow.
and I
Wow.
hit myself in a Bricklin. The Bricklin was there, I still vividly remember. There's a
Oh.
pause in the car, and those chaps were looking for me. Pakistan Army called it a kafir, non-believer. They told us Indian. They don't call us Indian. They call us
Ka-
kafir.
Kafir.
Kafir,
Kafir
kafir,
commander.
yeah, yeah. We were
Kafir
called
means
kafirs,
we are
yeah.
non-believer. We don't believe. We are all atheists according to them, right? So they look for me. I had a three choice: either to stay put there or surrender to the Pakistan army or run back. If I surrendered to them, none of those thoughts came to my mind. I was dog tired, absolutely worn out, nothing. I said, okay, I'll run back. I run back, take a chance. So by the time my troops, whom I told them to get back, they went and told Major Saab Pakada Gaya.
Oh.
So those days, the voice is only a Subedar. He opened fire, just a open fire. So there's a firing coming from my back, own firing in the front. I went into my firing, right? Into my firing. I reached them. Into nothing happened. I always tell people that unless the
Sometimes it's luck, sir.
bullet is
The
named
bullets
after
miss
it,
you.
will not. I turned back and a lot of firing came. Somehow reached my troops and these chaps went back and I took rest and a lot of firing took place that night. We couldn't sleep. Pakistan brought hell into us, real hell. We couldn't lift our head. We were on the bunny, there's little in the open party field. We were all lying down. In the morning, little advanced, one chap came and said, "Sir, Pakistan is and he said, "What is the meaning of white flag during the war? White flag means if somebody wants a flag meeting." So I sent my officer, second lieutenant, go and find out what is that. That one Brigadier Taskud was standing there.
Okay.
His name is the commander of the garrison. He wanted to meet my commanding officer. I said, "What is the request?" He said, "You want to talk about something? You want to meet my commanding officer." When a man is shown a white flag, there's ethics in war. We don't fire on him. We honor his thing. He's a brigadier after all. He's wearing a rank of a brigadier, maybe a Pakistan army. So we gave him water and chai. I said, "Bye, sir, please sit down." We salute him, make him sit down, and I sent him to my commanding officer, General Colonel Singh. Then Colonel Argun Singh reached faster. Then he had a poll with him. Then they said, "We want to surrender." He told him they want to surrender.
Oh.
So then the surrender ceremony, all the things have been sorted out at the CO and we advanced. Then we were told, "You go back, we'll come and meet you in advance." So we advanced, and but all that when we reached, I was told to resume advance for Chittagong. Chittagong is very close from there, the 2-3 fog. Then Pakistan started firing on us again when we reached Chittagong. Against the assurance of surrender, it is a ploy. So then a lot of shelling came on us. Despite being shelling, look, we are going to surrender when you advance. We took it a little light. We thought it was a morning walk. No, it was not so. They started firing. Again, we deployed. We launched a proper attack on Chittagong, and my company captured, and we captured Chittagong. Chittagong is a huge, big city. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very big city, but we
Second largest
captured
city of the
Chittagong,
country.
Yeah.
and we went to the port. we are told to go and capture port because port is very important, and we captured the fort, and the fort was in such a shamble. A lot of things, all the
Sorry,
godowns are
interrupting
open,
you. I
all the
think you
things
were the
that,
first officer in charge of Chittagong Port, I guess.
He was
After
the chairman of Chittagong Port.
chairman, right, sir?
yeah. So see now, then we occupied the places, but my CEO, Colonel Argobind, gave me the honor of, he only made my company for having done a good job with the war, made my company stay in Chittagong Port, and the port trust people came and said, "Sir, you be the chairman of Chittagong Port Trust." I didn't understand anything. Anyway, they gave us a lot of food and all the things and looked after us. And I stayed in Chittagong Port for nearly a month. And what happened? Chittagong Port is based on a Kardafali River. It's on a river.
Yeah.
The whole fort is on a river, not on the sea.
No.
Right.
And a lot of Pakistani ships were stopped by our air force, all
I
in a
think it was
different
also
shape.
mined,
And
right,
the
sir?
local people are cutting all the brass parts of the ship, because if they cut it, the whole ship will sink. If the ship sinks, and a lot of mines were there, and
Mm.
to restore the harbor is a big job. Therefore, my job was to prevent the people entering the ship and cutting all the brass parts. Secondly, you know, Bihari Muslims, heard of Bihari Muslims?
Yes.
Bihari Muslims are those guys who are siding up with the Pak army in torturing, raping, and looting the local people. So when we occupied, the big riot broke out around Chittagong Port Trust because the local people getting after the Chittagong Bihari Muslims who were alive those days, who were siding and creating a big nuisance to the local people. So the big riot, and again my CEO said, okay, there's no police, that time, there's no police, nothing, there's no, we are the government.
Yeah.
So I was deployed in the riot control. Lot of murder took place, lot of people have been killed, and the local Bengali population killed them with vengeance because they were big source of trouble. They were the people who've been giving all information and
Oh,
siding with Pak army, doing torturing, looting, raping the local people. So the 3-4 days time we restored normalcy, and we then the first surrender ceremony took place, and I showed you the photograph. We are having a beer after surrender ceremony. We got I I showed a photograph taken cheers after surrender ceremony, and I was only allowed. There's a hotel called Hotel Agrabad.
Agrabad
Uh,
Hotel. Yes.
I was the only officer allowed by my CEO to visit Hotel Agrabad. Hotel Agrabad was the Red Cross zone that time. It was a Red
Yes.
Cross zone, and my commanding officer very good. And he's a teetotaler. My commanding officer, absolutely real, proper Khalsa. I mean what I say, not that Anu is here. He's really a very, very staunch uh, Khalsa, nothing. He won't even allow me to smoke in front of him. Go away, he's that. Anyway, he allowed me to go and visit Hotel Agrabad, which is a thing, and enjoy my evening sometimes there. And he gave me a Datsun car to go around and Land Rover night time. So I had a jolly good time in Chittagong. I stayed there for some time, and just before Christmas, we moved out, and that's how it is. And I was the commander of the entire Chittagong Port Trust area, and also the chairman of the Port Trust. And Imran tells me my name is still there. Am I right, Imran?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You
what
are.
an honor.
There
What
as Major Bhaskar, Henry Bhaskar, on Port Trust. And that's how we come back.
Sir, you must write a book about this journey of yours.
yes.
If you need any help, I will help you to write it because this is very important for my country's history as well as the, I mean, if you look through the prism of 1971, the camaraderie that we have built in between the Bangladeshi forces and Indian army vis-a-vis the nation of India and Bangladesh, the freedom fighters fraternity. I think we need to press it ahead so that our descendants they get to know how this country was achieved. I think it is perhaps one of the most unique countries where you get this kind of help from the neighboring state to achieve your independence. Otherwise, we would have been they would have quelled our rebellion in the next 2 3 months, because we couldn't have continued. We didn't have the resources. We
We
had
did.
manpower, but we didn't have arms, ammunition. We didn't have the depth, because the country is so shallow.
I don't wanted to say we quite sacrificed for nothing. We did for a very grateful nation.
Right.
Very grateful nation. The Bangladesh is very, very grateful nation. But two incidents I'll tell you. I was instructed in Staff College. You know, Staff College, Defense Service
Yeah,
Staff
yeah.
College is very,
Hmm.
it's one of the institutions, Indian Army, Defense Services Staff College. I was instructed there. There are 7 Bangladesh officers from the Bangladesh Army attending a course. And when they knew that I was one of the guys who participated in the liberation war, they hosted a special dinner for me and for my wife and gave me a beautiful memento of Solar Bangla. Right. Secondly, I was visiting US, one of my last visit to US. I was going
Yes, the
around
cab
New
driver.
York,
Yeah.
taxi. And that guy asked me, "Sir, are you a army chap?" Yes. I said, "You must be Indian Army." Yes, Indian Army. And then he asked me where are you staying, all this thing. When I got down, I said, I was staying, got down, I was to cross this Dusted River. He said, "How much?" I said, "No, sir, I don't want anything." "Why?" "You sacrifice your life for the country, but I don't want that really touched me. Really, that touched me. You see, that man has got so much of feelings for the country, who helped them to restore the situation. I felt very, I hugged him and really told him, "Thank you so much." I said, "Joy Bangla." That's the end of it. So these two incidents I want to say. And last but not the least, as a tribute to my commanding officer, I had you see, having a good commander under whom you serve is an act of God. Not everybody gets the chance to serve under really a true professional, pure, and a valiant gentleman commanding officer. I had the good fortune of having served under a very, very professional, valorous, very brave man, and he couldn't care less for a damn for anything. His only job, and I was so thankful to God, to Jesus Christ, my Lord, who gave an opportunity to serve under the most honorable commanding officer, late Colonel Argoban Singh, and I'm so happy that his little daughter. And I also have a story to tell about. Some other time I'll tell you. I know as a little girl, right? And later on I'll tell you that not this time, but I want to say that the this kind of a material like we will never get it, right? So that's all I have to say, and uh, I want to say that everything is fine, and thank you so much for giving the opportunity to participate in this. And Imran is hearing the same story over and over again. I'm sorry, Imran, you got to bear with me.
No,
Okay,
no,
Before
sir.
anything,
and
I
God
would
bless.
like to
Bye
add
bye.
one thing,
That's all I
sir.
have to say.
I mean, for all of you, that Imran sir, I think you also don't know about this. So this thing actually is regarding Major Abdul Salek Chaudhry and Colonel Harbak Singh. I met him last year, and he showed me a letter that was written by Major Abdul Salek Chaudhry. I think it was in January 1972 to Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh, and that is, I think, it was present all the time for all these years in the Mahar Regimental Center. So I got that letter, and last time in December I met the brother of Major Abdul Salek Chaudhry, Major Motin Chaudhry, in
Martin.
Dhaka. So I showed that letter that I think it's like a round trip back home. I hope you
Yeah.
understand, sir, that the letter that was written by Major Abdul Salek Chaudhry was finally sort of like went back home to his own brother,
Brother
that I
Martin.
found in Chandigarh, actually, in the hands of Colonel Harbak Singh. So I said, of course,
Imagine.
I'll take that letter to him and show it to him. That it was a letter which actually showed the, what I can say, gratefulness of Major Abdul Salek Chaudhry as a person and his own forces to the Indian Army, especially to Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh. And it was like such a joy to find it. Like it was like a bond of two nations. Just one letter.
It's a beautiful letter. Yes.
I hope the
I
Assistant Commander of the Indian Army gets a copy of that letter for their own museum so that they can show
yes.
it there.
Why?
Let me tell you a small story, please. On the 15th of December, 1971, when my father's company was advancing to capture city of Sylhet with four sector Bangladesh forces, and there was Indian Army had the Eco Force.
Eco Force.
Eco Force was made of 76 BSF and 55 Gorkha, and Colonel Brigadier Wadekar was the
Wadekar.
brigade commander.
Wadikar.
So yeah, on the 15th of December, there is a place in between Sylhet and in Dauki in Dauki in India, if you know Dauki, which is very close, which is the last border of Tamabil as you go to Silang. So there is a complex, a Mazar complex where my father's company got stuck, and they entered into the Pakistan Army's defense at night and encircled, and four of my father's own company, EPR companies, gallantry award winning, four chaps died. They embraced martyrdom, and my father then radioed because it was a combined force like what you had in Chittagong, sir, the BSF, the Army, the Mahar Regiment, and the Bangladesh Mukti
Together.
Bahini. So my father radioed help, and it was 55 Gurkha who rescued my father's company that day. And all his life, he said, if 55 Gurkha didn't come and rescue my company, you would all have been an orphan by on the 15th of December. So the reparation, the gratitude, and the respect and the mutual uh, fellow feelings that we have created, cemented in 1971, I don't think any other country in the world has enjoyed this magnitude of camaraderie and bondage in between the nations. I mean, we owe so much. We owe so much. I wish I had more words and languages to speak about it. Uh, So yes, thank you, sir, and thank you, Anuji. It's
Yeah.
so kind and so honored to have you in this show. And
So meet you. I'm
Thank
so
you
happy.
all for being here. Thank you all for being
thank you,
here.
thank you,
Thank
sir. I
you.
wish you all the best, sir, and I will talk to you soon, and I will help you to guide you to write the book, sir. Please, okay?
Yes. Henry
Just
Uncle.
100 pages, sir. I will write it for you.
I'll call you Henry Uncle. Yes, Uncle, you've got to write this book. You have to write the memoirs. You know, you have such a story to tell. You have
Please,
the
sir.
inside stories and the honor of capturing Chittagong, the port trust.
Right.
You've got to tell your story. It'll be
Please,
so wonderful.
I humbly request you, sir. The world, our descendants need to know this, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Sir.
everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you
Anuji.
all of you for being here. Especially thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am, for waking up early and being here from
Shall we
California.
start Bangla?
No, I'm,
Right,
I
Bangla.
just came here. I just arrived about 5, 6 days ago, and so I wake up at 5 every morning. I'm normally a very lazy person, but I'm waking up at 5, so it wasn't hard at all today to be up.
Thank
And
you. Thank you,
I was
everyone.
so
Thank you all
excited
for
all
being
night.
here.
I didn't even need to set my alarm. I just woke up. I said, I have to meet everybody.
May God bless us all. Thank you.
God bless everybody. Dev Jyoti, thank you very much. I can't
Thank you so
stop
much.
thanking you.
Sir, I'll see you soon, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Bye,
See you
everyone.
all soon.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
रुकिए रुकिए रुकिए, अभी वीडियो खत्म नहीं हुआ है। आपको तो बताया था कि मेजर अब्दुल सलेक चौधरी, मुक्ति बाहिनी कमांडर, कैसे एक चिट्ठी लिखा था टू लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल हरगोबिंद सिंह विशिष्ट सेवा मेडल, and that letter had stayed in the Mahar Regimental Center for 52 years, and in 2023 that letter finally reached the family of Major Abdul Salek Chaudhary to Major Mateen Chaudhary. तो उस लेटर को अभी मैं रीड करने वाला हूं, which has been written by Major Abdul Salek Chaudhary to Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh. So it goes like this. Major Abdul Salek Chaudhary, 9th Battalion of the East Bengal Regiment, Bangladesh Forces, Dhaka, 26 March 1972. My dear Colonel Singh, I am sure this letter will find you in an excellent mood of satisfaction and joy. Bangladesh is liberated. All Indian soldiers have left the soil of Bangladesh, which must have come as a shock to those interested class who thought India wants to grab Bangladesh. Now that you're not among us, it leaves me an opportunity to cherish the memory of those days, which probably are the most remarkable period of yours as well as our life. After the army crackdown in Bangladesh, we felt so helpless and undecisive, due to which no timely retaliation could be done by us. All action that were carried out by us was in bits and pieces without any coordination. That was the time we came to know our real friend India, who came forward and stood next to the helpless millions and once again proved their broad-mindedness and humanity. During the Liberation War, your presence among us, your keen interest on us, and your advice to the development of operations infused tremendous amount of inspiration to us and used to give us a feeling of security. We all know Bangladesh will be liberated someday. It was the willpower which kept us always above from all conspiracies hatched on us by the Pakistani army to dislodge our movement. When I came back to my people in Dhaka, the same house, same roads, same sky and same soil which were 9 months back, but the color had changed. Sometimes I am also confused in thinking that it might have been a nightmare. People of Dhaka were surprised to see your army mixing with common people so freely. They said this is how an army should be. Army should not mean terror but friend and security. I have no words to convey my heartiest gratitude and thanks to you. To think of your nation, which is so great, who had to sacrifice more than 1,000 soldiers and 5,000 injured for the cause of humanity to liberate Bangladesh. Please come to Bangladesh on holiday and stay with me. I would love to have you amongst us to recollect the memories of those days and show you the Bangladesh as much as possible. My best wishes to all your officers. I will never forget the incident when I met you in Bhattiari. You will be remembered with Chittagong. Yours sincerely, Salek. मैं इसको लिख के आपके सामने पढ़ रहा था. I hope you get what I'm trying to convey and what these two great commanding officers of both the countries have tried to convey to each other. Thank you so much for listening and Jai Hind.